Hey everybody, welcome to today's cook along. And last week when I did my loaf chopping, I thought that I could make some typical maritime Nova Scotia homemade bread, and lots of positive responses, so that's what we're gonna do. And if you wanna make this yourself, this is the recipe I'm following on Pinterest. I've made it many times before. It's called oatmeal brown bread, and it's put on by M is for Mommy. M is for Mommy. So this is the recipe we're going to be following. So it's probably going to be a chopped up, video because, obviously it takes so long to make bread, and be like each step will be a little segment of the video, and hopefully it works out. It might be a little weird. I'm not sure how this is going to go, but we're gonna go for it and see what happens. I wanted to bring my KitchenAid over onto the island where there's so much room, but the extension cord I have is not a 3-pronger, which the stand mixer is. So we're going to be going back and forth all over the place. Just kind of bear with me. We're just gonna go for it. Okay, so this is the recipe. It's very easy to follow. I haven't made bread since I had bariatric surgery, because I really can't, I can't eat a sandwich for sure, and I can't remember the last time I bought a loaf of bread, really. But so I'll probably freeze most of this, take it to work. I could probably have one slice of bread toasted or something like that with some homemade jam or something. Maybe that would be good. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is, in a large bowl, soak oats, 2 cups of oats in 3 cups of boiling water. So, we're going to be moving around a lot here with the camera. I'm sorry. Hopefully it won't be too shaky, but I do have it on a tripod. So in this bowl right here, I have 2 cups of quick oats, okay? And to that, we're going to add, just following the directions, to that we're going to add 3 cups of boiling water. So my water just came to the boil. So I'm going to add 3 cups of boiling water. And as I said in the video last week, this is just very typical East Coast maritime brown bread, porridge bread, oatmeal bread. People, call it different things, but basically it's all the same. Okay, so there's my 3 cups of boiling water. Let me give that a stir. What to do with my wooden spoon? There it is. Sorry, I'm trying to do this half organized. Okay, so we're just going to let that set. It has to cool down before we add the rest of ingredients. So I am going to shut you off right now. Oh, it smells good, yum. So I'm going to shut you off, and we're going to let this cool down. It's probably going to take, 10 or 15 minutes or so, and then we'll be back with the second step. Bye. Okay, everybody, we are back. So it's been almost 30 minutes. So this oatmeal mixture has been cooling for 30 minutes. I did switch it over into the stand mixer bowl. And obviously you don't need a stand mixer to make bread. Our mothers and grandmothers didn't have stand mixers. They made bread by hand. Some grandmothers made bread every day of their life. So you just need to put in a little more elbow grease into it. Okay, so this has been going for 30 minutes, cooling for 30 minutes. And then the last 10 minutes, I made the yeast mixture, which is right there. Easy to follow on the recipe. 1 cup of lukewarm water. You don't, oh, see? Ooh, we're overflowing. 1 cup of lukewarm water. You don't want it too hot, because if you make it too hot, you'll kill the yeast. The yeast is kind of like in a dormant state, and when you put the warm water in and 2 teaspoons of sugar, which feeds the yeast, this is what you're going to get, and this is going to make the dough rise. Okay, so this is where we at. We have the cooled oats and the 1 cup of warm water, 2 packets of yeast, and 2 teaspoons of sugar. And clearly I should have used a bigger bowl for that. Okay, so next step is, once oats are cooled, stir in the yeast mixture with a spatula. Oh, I made a big mess. Okay, oh my gosh, but the smell of yeast just, oh, it's so good. There is nothing like the smell of homemade bread rising. It is just yum, yum, yum. Okay, so I've got a little mess going there. That's all right. Okay, so stir in the yeast mixture, the molasses, salt, and melted butter. So the salt is The salt is what does it say? 4 teaspoons of salt. So I'm just gonna, I shouldn't do this. Okay, we'll say 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. 4 teaspoons of salt. Melted butter, which is a 1/4 cup of melted butter that I have here, which is 4 tablespoons, which is half a stick, if you have sticks. Anyway, it's 4 tablespoons. Did I say teaspoons? 4 tablespoons of butter. The recipe is very easy to follow. And the molasses, which is 2/3 of a cup of molasses. Pardon me. Now I need to get one of these measuring cups back because I just put both of them in sync. But actually I'll probably use this butter one, which will make it a little bit easier. And so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to spray, there we go. I'm going to spray the measuring cup with a little bit of cooking spray, and that will help the molasses come out easy because molasses is very thick and sticky. So we're going to pour into this measuring cup 2/3 of a cup of molasses. Okay, where's my thing? Oh, there it is. Okay, 2/3 of a cup of molasses. Right there. Okay. And we're going to pour that in here. And because there was butter in here and the cooking spray, it should just about come mostly out on its own, which it is. I'll give it a little bit of help. Okay. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to move over to the stand mixer now and put it on the mixer. So I'm coming right back there to get you. Okay. Whoa! I forgot my phone was plugged in. Charging. Okay. So now we're over at the stand mixer. It's really choppy, you guys, sorry. And for the first little mix, I'm just gonna put on a regular paddle to mix it together. And then when we start adding the flour, we're gonna change it to the dough hook. Okay, there we go, locked and loaded. So I'm just gonna give this a little mix, kind of get everything incorporated. And I know it's not the best visualization, but what can I say? All right. So that's good. Oh, it smells so good. Okay, we're gonna stop it. Let me refer back to the recipe again. I'm gonna bring the recipe right over here. Okay, so once the oats are cooled down, stir in the yeast mixture, molasses, salt and pepper, or salt and melted butter. We did that. Gradually beat in 7 cups of flour. Okay, so let me come over here and I'm gonna lift this up. I'm gonna start with adding 1, 2, and I guess if you were a professional baker, you would probably sift the flour and measure it, and oh, I am measuring, but I'm not a professional, so this is how I do it, and it works pretty good for me. So I'm just kind of covering up so it doesn't splash out at me. So that's 2 cups, starting to come together. Okay, I'm gonna stop it. I'm gonna add 2 more cups. Can you still see? Yep, okay. I'm gonna add 2 more cups. 1, 2, so we're up to 4 cups. And I'm just gonna take it slow so it doesn't splatter. So we're up to 4. I always have to, even when I'm making this by myself, I always have to count out loud because I know I'm going to screw it up. Okay, so that's 4. Okay, so what we're going to do now is I think we will switch to the dough hook. So let me stop that. Stop. Lift. Where's my spatula? Okay. Gosh, I hope I can finish this, you guys, in 15 minutes. That would be a big bummer. Whoops. But this is so good. And, you know, in Nova Scotia, and probably, well, I know in Newfoundland, and old-time tradition is you would have homemade brown bread on Saturday with homemade baked beans. And That's some good eating right there. See, I'm addicted to food, addicted to wax. I just have an addictive personality. All right, so I'm going to take out the paddle. And I'm going to add the dough hook. Now I've got 4 cups in there, right? I've got 4 cups. Okay, I'm going to add 2 more. And this makes 2 loaves of bread. 1, 2. Okay, so that's 6. I am going to turn off the video right now because I don't want to use up all my time. And when this is all incorporated with the 7 cups, I'll come back. So I'll see you in a few minutes. Okay, everybody, we are back. It's been about 8 minutes in the mixer. I did add an extra cup of flour because it was still really wet. It might take some more flour, but I'm going to knead it for a minute. I'm going to have some more flour on the board, on my counter. So that's going to incorporate some more flour as well. So let's stop this, and we're going to move over to the counter so I can knead it just a couple of times. It doesn't need to be done too much because it's been kneading here in the bowl for about 7 minutes or so, or 7 to 8 minutes. And something else I wanted to say, in Newfoundland, which is another East Coast province where my father is from, and I have family there as well, what they do, and I'm pretty sure I didn't know about it until I lived in Newfoundland for a while, but what they do is take some of this raw bread dough, and they kind of like make little sort of like pancakes with it, flattened it out, and they pan fry it, and it's called Totons. And oh my God, is it good. Especially I think more with white bread than the brown bread is what they make Totons out of. Okay, so we are moving over here to the board, and I've got a whole pile of flour here. I've taken off my rings and washed my hands because we're gonna do a little kneading. And I gotta watch the time. I don't even know if you can see this. It's heavy and sticky, heavy and sticky. So it's gonna take some more flour. So you know those old grandmothers, they got their workout making bread for their husbands and families. Okay, let's see where we're at the camera. Okay, pretty good, pretty good. Okay, so let me scrape this off. I know this isn't gonna be less than 15 minutes. I don't know how it's gonna go. Okay, so I'm gonna put some more flour on here, and we're just gonna really kind of, all we're doing is making it kind of like a cohesive pile of dough now. Oh, yum. Oh, this is gonna be good. Okay, so I'm gonna cut you off right here. Well, no, actually, let me just, okay, so that's kind of more cohesive now. I have a greased big bowl here. This happens to be a pasta bowl. So that's gonna go in there. We're gonna cover it with a clean towel, nothing too heavy. And that's gonna stay there for an hour and a half until it's doubled in size. And so I will be back in an hour and a half. Bye.